Welcome to this video blog. I'm Chris Yates of ICE-BERG. In this video we'll be giving away some of our secret sauce. This is in the form of a hack in Excel that makes dealing with BRUKL output results that bit easier. We're giving it away, it's all open, it's under a Creative Commons license, but the caveat is we're using the source code distribution system of YouTube. We're not going to post the spreadsheet online for everyone. Anyone with sufficient Excel experience can just stop the video and screenshot the code and recreate it themselves. Alternatively, if you're a partner of ICE-BERG, or if you'd like to become a partner, we can give away this source code with some training. So for the uninitiated, what does BRUKL stand for? Or B.R.U.K.L, it's an acronym. Building Regulations United Kingdom Part L. Part L is the energy efficiency regulation for buildings in the UK. At the simplest level, it compares the carbon emissions of your design with a notional building. That notional building is based on the same design but with fixed parameters such as window area, HVAC efficiency, lighting, etc. And this is based on a thermal model. The BRUKL certificate is a PDF that's produced by the ICE-BERG or DSM software. It shows whether you've passed or failed Part L. It also shows more detail, and it's this detail that we're really interested in as building physicists. The source code of this PDF is an open text file with the extension .inp, and all software, ICE-BERG, IES, TAS, Design Builder, they all create this INP file. The PDF is created from the INP file, and the process is run the simulation. The software creates an INP file which is then used to create the PDF. So the INP file has all the information that we need. So where do these files live, the PDF and the INP file? Well, in IES it's buried in the project directory, which we can access quite easily. If we go to in Building Compliance View Results folder, that opens up a folder, and we can see the INP file and the certificate here. So let's just open both of those up, and so we can see, we can cross-reference. So for example, here's the table of U values here, and there's a kind of machine readable rather than human readable table here. But the results that we're really interested in are on near the end. I think it's the penultimate page, or the penultimate page but one. So again, if I just, there we go. So here's the table that we're usually interested in, and this is its kind of opposite numbering, key value kind of format. Now, by using this, we can it's very easy to pull this into Excel, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So here is the spreadsheet. First of all, we need to enable the macros, and in terms of its format, let's zoom in a little bit. So what we've got is we've got a kind of column-based format that we can see iterations side by side in the columns, and we can have many of these side by side for the purposes of comparison. So here it is in action. We click this button here, and I've got the path to that folder before on my clipboard, the project folder, and I just click on the INP file, click OK, and it pulls in that information from the penultimate page but one of the of the BRUKL document, pulls it in from the IMP file. There it is. Then we delete this column. We don't have to delete this column, but it tidies it up a bit. We can timestamp it, and then we just take these functions from the left hand side, treat those as a template, paste them in, and give it a description. You could give it a model name, model 1, and heat pump cop, upgraded or something like that. So that's the idea. We can see the effect of minor and major changes if we, these are two completely unrelated models in column J and column K, but if you've done small adjustments and iterations, we can see the effect of minor changes. So it gives you an easy, you build up these columns and it gives you an easy to access comprehensive record of run history. It can span Reba stages if you want it to, and you can choose to overwrite your model, your DSM model. You don't need to keep all of those iterations, because the iterations, the important data will be stored in this spreadsheet. You can do that with quite a high degree of confidence, which is good. And it saved me creating hundreds of extra DSM models, this. And it's also good for flagging up unexpected changes quickly. So those times, so if there's something goes boing in your model, and you expect this to stay the same, but it goes up 5 points or something like that. You can see it straight away. You don't have to eyeball two PDF files next to each other. It's very flexible, so everything above this button you can mess with. You can add rows. You could, let's say we'll multiply that by the area. So we got the kilowatt hours generated by the PV system. That's one thing you could do. You could do a little side calc. You could compare these numbers, and you can also, if you want to, you can adulterate functions. So if you wanted to, let's change this to 0.75. Okay, so that's, I've just decided arbitrarily I'm going to adulterate that function there. It's got a custom function, I'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, custom function called BRUKL lookup. Yeah, if you do adulterate functions, then obviously you want to highlight them in some way, so you don't copy them as a template next time you update the spreadsheet. And then also it's got this concept of fuels. This isn't quite as reliable now as it was in version 2013 of Part L, because if you do this, then you'll know that the electricity carbon factor is a monthly value now. So the best I could do is having an average value. Also works with EPC INP files. We just have an extra building. Don't know if there's an example with. Okay, so these here, the template ones have the reference building in as well. Now there can be different implementations of IMP between, say, DSM and SBEM, even within the same tool. So the key values here, they could be in a different order. We can reference it by using the custom lookup. Now it does that using a named function. If we go into formulas, name manager, there is a name function called BRUKL lookup. I'll just stretch that. You have to zoom in a bit. it's using the Lambda functionality, so you need Excel Office 365. Most of us have that now, and it does a selection of offset type functions, matching and offset functions. So it seems overkill, but it was a way of getting around that. I was finding that when I was using SBEM for one run and then DSM for another, and comparing the two, in one particular piece of software I was using, they were in a different order. So it seems like a bit of overkill, but it does get around that. So there you go. There it is. The only other bit of code to show you is the VBA that is invoked when you press this button here. So if you haven't got your developer tab up, then you can go to customize the ribbon and just make sure this developer box is ticked, and we can open up the Visual Basic code editor from here. And then if we go to I think we stored it all in module 1, and so that's the timestamp function. It's a very, very simple one-line function, but this is the import button. And so what it does is it looks for the row that the button is actually in. That's how it kind of references where to start writing the input. So it does that here, and then it finds the last empty column with this bit of code here, and even if the last column is hidden, it should flag that up if I'm not wrong, and then it invokes this function here, call import. It's a sub actually. I suppose it is a function still, and it takes the row number and and then it opens up the file browsing dialog. You then browse to your file and filters it for IMP files, the file dialog, and then it sets that file to a variable called free file or HF, and then it just reads it in to another variable called lines, and it iterates through the entire IMP file in this loop here, and it's looking for this keyword here, building data. So when it finds building data equals building data, this is actually a line in the IMP file, then it starts the counter and it pulls in the next 40 lines, record until I plus 40. So it pulls in the next 40 lines. It just writes those lines into the cells below using the offset function. Then it just tidies everything up. So we've shared in this video, I think I'll just scroll up and down this from the top to the bottom. So if you want to recreate this code, then there it is. So there we go, we've shared in this video. We've made it open source. You can stop and screenshot how we've done this. You can recreate it yourself if you're comfortable. Alternatively, if you're one of our partners, or if you want to become a partner, we can provide the spreadsheet itself with some training and mentorship. You get the spreadsheet training, you get to understand a bit about VBA and Lambda functions, and maybe things like using the debugger in VBA. It's it's quite useful stuff. So there we go, there's a little bit of VBA, some thought out organisation, and the use of this Lambda function as a named range. It makes life for the jobbing building physicist a lot easier. So hopefully you can join us for this endless fun. Okay, bye for now.